Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashilakaya Chakshurum Nilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya De Satarine. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa taruvasya kripa sindhu vyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tamaham bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram. Hare Krishna. So today I thought of discussing on topic of how to prepare for a class. If we have to give a class somewhere, how to prepare for the class and how to give nice class. Okay, so I hope everyone can make some notes. Okay. So one time when Srila Prabhupada was really sick, he was really sick in Vrindavan Dham. So Srila Prabhupada was not even able to speak properly. At that time, many devotees were serving him. His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, and His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj was also there. So Giriraj Swami Maharaj tells this story. So in the night, Srila Prabhupada actually got up, and when he got up, Srila Prabhupada called for Giriraj Swami Maharaj, and he calls for Giriraj Swami Maharaj, and he asks how this organization will go on in my absence. So he asks the questions late at night at 2 o'clock. Srila Prabhupada calls Giriraj Swami Maharaj that how this organization will go on in my absence, or when I am not there, how this organization will go on. So Giriraj Maharaj, first of all, it was so difficult to hear what Srila Prabhupada was speaking, because his voice had become so frail and so soft and so faint, it was hardly audible. So first of all, he was not able to understand what Srila Prabhupada was speaking. And somehow he understood, deciphered that Srila Prabhupada is trying to tell that how this organization or how this institution will go on after he leaves this planet. Then Giriraj Swami Maharaj said, if devotees are sincere and they are chanting 16 rounds sincerely and following the 4 regulative principles, and they are following your orders, then Srila Prabhupada, it will go on. So like that, Giriraj Swami Maharaj replied that if devotees are sincere, serious, and they are chanting the 16 rounds nicely, and following the 4 regulatory principles nicely, and then this is or institution will go on in your absence. And Srila Prabhupada replied a very interesting thing. Srila Prabhupada replied, organization and intelligence will help this institution go on. So the first thing Srila Prabhupada replied is, organization and intelligence will help the institution run in my absence. So organization means how we manage things effectively. Where is your notes? So how we manage things effectively. You are not able to see this. Okay, you are hearing. So how we manage things effectively. Especially we see, I sometimes I go to companies and I give seminars, and I am amazed how they have such systems of management and protocols and policies just to serve material energy. And we think to serve spiritual energy, we don't require any protocols and management. There is a book written by Srila Rupa Goswami, and the book name is Radha Krishna Gonodesa Deepika. So in this book, Srila Rupa Goswami speaks about so Radha Krishna Gonodesa Deepika. So in that, Rupa Goswami explains about the organizational structure of Braj. Generally we think Vrindavan means what? Oh, Radhe, Radhe, Krishna, Krishna, and Riksha Wala also is speaking Radhe, Radhe, and Kan Kan mein Radhe, Radhe, everyone, all this emotional stuff we think. So, but if you read this book, you will understand this is a book, I think, of management hierarchy. So, if you read it, you will understand what an organizational structure there is. There is hierarchy, there is yuttha, there is mandali, there is gana, there is brinda. So these are the names that are mentioned of the gopis. And just like we sing in what we sing in that song, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite. Correct? So I used to wonder what is mandal. Mandal means I used to wonder a group. No, mandal is one of the hierarchical structure. In one of the hierarchical structure is mandala. So there is yuttha, there is mandala, there is gana, there is brinda, and there is a completely hierarchical structure. So first Rupa Goswami explains the entire hierarchical structure of the gopis. And then Rupa Goswami explains that even within that hierarchical structure, let's say for example, we take an example of Brinda. So even in Brinda, there are categories of which Brinda will do what. Like one Brinda is focused for making flower bracelet for Krishna. That is their job eternally. If you ask them what they make, they just make flower bracelets. So one Brinda focuses on flower bracelet. Another Brinda focuses on anklet. So even in the hierarchical structure, every group or every hierarchical step has their own divisions and has their own service allocation. So there is proper hierarchy, and not just hierarchy, there is also very high class service allocation. And not just service allocation, there is quality improvement people who ensure that the quality that is there is maintained. And not just that, there is skillsmen who are SMEs. You know what is called SME? Subject matter expert. So there are skillsmen who are there, and they are also named. It's not that Rupa Goswami doesn't name them. Rupa Goswami names them also. So there are people who are creative. So some gopis are very creative, but some gopis are not creative, but they are very skillful. उनको बोला जाएगा ऐसे घुमाओ, ऐसे धागा को घुमाओ, वैसे धागा को घुमाओ, एंड वो सब घुमाते रहेंगे. एंड अनदर गोपी वुड जस्ट डायरेक्ट देम कि ऐसे घुमाओ, एंड देन द फूल बन जाएगा. So there is skillsman, there is hierarchy, there is service allocation, there is quality improvement program. Everything is there in a most organized way. And sometimes we think that Vrindavan means you just Radhe 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 and you just cry a little bit, right? If you go and Vrindavan and just cry, you will be again sent to material world for training, I think. So there is an entire organized structure, hierarchy in Vrindavan Dham, just to ensure that the service of Krishna goes on and it managed effectively, right? So this is one part of what Srila Prabhupada was telling. And sometimes as soon as we speak about organization, we think that organization is only required in material world. Organization is only required for corporate. Organization is all this corporate culture, and it is a headache, this corporate culture, and these are all not good. But we need to understand corporate culture is a headache not because of the organization and how they manage. Corporate culture is an headache because it doesn't have spiritual intelligence. So if we have an organization hierarchy and we think we have achieved what is Vrindavan Dham, that is also wrong. So what Srila Prabhupada is telling, that we need to have spiritual intelligence. So just an organizational hierarchy will make us a corporate. We are not a corporate because we have some spiritual, we need to have spiritual intelligence. Like for example, we may manage very, very effectively. There are so many organizations that are getting managed so effectively, but there is no spiritual substance. If you ask their followers why they are doing, some may say, I am doing for money. Some may say, I don't know. Someone said to me. But spiritual intelligence means everyone is fully conscious of doing it for pleasure of Krishna. So, in that way, we have our sadhana, we have our regulations, then we may have our swadhyaya, so all these things come in spiritual intelligence. So one is the organizational hierarchy and another is the spiritual intelligence. Both come together comprises the spiritual world, the Vrindavan Dham, of how the service happens. We should not think that Vrindavan Dham or Braj is a place where it's just spontaneously everyone just telling Radhe Radhe and all those things. Rather, it is the most effectively organized hierarchical structure for managing service of Krishna. If you can see any company and it is being managed nicely, Vrindavan Dham supersedes its management. And the difference is the companies may be managed very, very effectively, but they lack spiritual substance, they lack spiritual intelligence. So, Srila Prabhupada was speaking about these two things, is we manage effectively and we take care of our spiritual standards. If we have these two combination, then our institution will be successful. So whatever preaching we are doing, we need to understand that I may give you all of you some tips of how to give nice class and all those things, but the most important aspect is that we need to have spiritual intelligence of our own sadhana, because until and unless I am experiencing Krishna, then how can I distribute Krishna? Right? If I don't experience Krishna, if I don't chant Hare Krishna nicely, then how I can distribute Hare Krishna? Right? So these are the two things. And even if I experience Krishna, but if I don't follow a proper systematic approach, then also I'll not be able to preach. One time, Srila Prabhupada for the first time had come to Mayapur. When Srila Prabhupada had come to Mayapur, Srila Prabhupada had not got a place by that time. And Srila Prabhupada was making his disciples, some of his disciples, I think Achyutananda, Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, and some more, one or two more disciples. They were going on a tour to different Gaudiya mats. So Srila Prabhupada went to one Gaudiya mat. So when Srila Prabhupada went to that Gaudiya mat, he saw a lot of people. Some were wearing pant shirt, some were elderly people, young people, all types of people are there, right? Some were having tilak, some were not having tilak. And there was a big crowd of people for the aarti in the morning. Come. And then the next day, Srila Prabhupada took to another Gaudiya mat. And in another Gaudiya mat, there were very few people, only 4, 5, 6 sannyasis, but they were very strict. And all were holding danda, and there were some brahmacharis who had nicely put tilak. Their dhotis were spick and span clean, and tilak was very nice, and they were really strong, and they were sitting for chanting also very nicely, and chanting, no one was dozing in chanting, everyone was perfectly chanting nicely. So Srila Prabhupada saw. And then Prabhupada, and that time they were used to use train. So they were returning in the train. So Srila Prabhupada asked the disciples that, what did you learn from the Gaudiya mat? So one of the disciples said to Srila Prabhupada that in one of the Gaudiya mat, The quantity is on the focus. Lot of people are coming. And in another Gaudiya Math, the quality is in the focus. And I think Srila Prabhupada, you want both together in ISKCON. And Srila Prabhupada said, yes, that's what you have understood my message, that we want quality plus the quantity. Quality in management and spiritual substance, and quantity in our outreach. So this is what actually Srila Prabhupada desired, that it's not that we focus in quality, but we also focus in quantity. But sometimes when we focus in quantity, we forget training people and ensuring that people are getting trained and people are learning how to improve their devotional service. So the quantity is important, the amount of outreach we are having is important, but not at the cost of quality, right? So with this little bit of primary knowledge, we will start off. So we will take different classes like this, so that on a practical level, like today we are taking how to take nicely class. Some other day we will take how to manage our schedules, time management. Like I give time management seminars in different corporates, so we'll have some time management, how to manage time. So different sessions like this once in a month we will take. Okay. So now how to prepare for a class. Okay. So we will discuss. So for all of you, it is easy to remember 8 P's of how to prepare nicely for a class. Okay. So the first one, is philosophy. Let me okay. So what is philosophy? So philosophy means before planning to start the class, the first thing we should think is, what is the title? Because name is very important. Sometimes we give very attractive names, then people get attracted. What will be spoken? Correct? So that creates some. So a attractive name or attractive title creates sensation and suspense. Right? Like for example, there is one song that came, Why There Is Kulaviredi, right? How many of you know about that song? How many? You have heard that song? Oh, you were devotee or not devotee by that time? Oh, you were in Kota. Okay, okay. You had also heard the song. Okay, you are devotee or not devotee? Not devotee. How many of you have heard that song? Ansuman Prabhu has also heard that song. Ansuman Prabhu, when you became so romantic. Amazing. Ansuman Prabhu has heard that song. Now there is nothing. Ansuman Prabhu has heard this song. Karan? Huh? Karan also has. Vishnu Priya? Where is Vishnu? You have also heard? Huh? Vishnu Priya also has heard. Only I am remaining. I have not heard the song. I have heard the title. So why there is collaborating? So one of our devotee arranged a prerna session where there is no collaborating. ऐसा एक जगह जहां पे ब्रेकअप्स ही नहीं है. So people will think, वाह, कोई है क्या ऐसे, right? So an attractive, sensational and suspense oriented title is the first thing that we need to think before beginning a class, preparing for a class. So if you really want to attract the public, right, the title is very, very important. Let's say we may have some chain of sessions, like for example, we may have some chain of 8 sessions, 10 sessions, 4 sessions. But in every session, if you want people to come and remain hooked and come again, so we need to have some attractive tagline. Okay, so we will discuss this for the session. So sensation and suspense. So in this world, what attracts people's mind is sensation. Yes, you will see in the news. So what makes news? Suspense, sensation. Like my sister was used to see CID. There was, I don't know whether now CID is going on or I don't know. My sister used to see CID, and there was one muscular fellow and doing something, and my sister was such a big fan, and I was worried, what you are seeing is so horrible. Nothing is happening. They're going somewhere and taking some fingerprint and doing something, and my sister, and there will be discussion between my sister, my father, my mother, what will happen. And I used to wonder what is happening. And they would also keep the serial, they would divide it into serial, and they would put the serial in such a suspense situation that public will start thinking, what will happen? What next? What next? The entire week they will be starting to think. So what makes news? What makes is thriller, right? Some thriller, some suspense, some crime, right? There is Crime Patrol serials, right? Correct? So all these serials are there. So a title is the first thing in philosophy we need to find out, and it has to be attractive, it has to be sensational, it has to be having the suspense. Okay. The second thing is that once we are ready with the title, so once we are ready with the title, the second thing we should think about a brainstorming about the list of concepts, philosophical concepts that we are going to cover in the session. Okay, I will cover soul, and then I'll cover how soul is relevant, then I'll cover the proofs of the soul, and then I'll cover how the soul looks like, then I'll cover from where the soul has come. So try to brainstorm whatever is coming in your brain, all the list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever is coming, right? So put the entire list of the concepts ready, what has to be covered, right? The third thing that has to be there is rearrange the concepts in chronological order. So you have concept 1, then concept 2, then concept 3, then concept 4, so on, like that. And the fourth one is establish link between the concept. What is the link between concept 1 and concept 2? Like for example, I'll give an example so that you understand what is meaning of link. So as an example, let us say we discuss about soul, right? So then we discuss that the soul is seated in the heart. So as soon as the soul is seated in the heart, then the question arises, why I am not able to see the soul in the heart? There are so many heart surgeries happening. No one is able to find the soul. And rather we are doing a bypass surgery also, putting the heart from another place to another place, and whether the soul is also traveling out of the body and going through the heart and going. So all these things will come. So the next concept has to be explained, that how the soul is spiritual. So the first concept is the soul is in heart. Then the next concept that has to be explained is how soul is spiritual. Don't try to see the soul on a material level in the heart. So this is the link. You are able to understand? So if one concept is told, then that concept creates some questions. How you can find out the link? How we can find out the link? By asking questions on concept 1, we can find out the link for concept 2. Just like I said, if we say the first concept is the place of the soul, where the soul resides. Krishna, then we say that Krishna says that Hruddese Arjuna Tishthati, Hruddese. So we say that Hruddese, Hrudaya mein Atma rehta hai, virajman karta hai. So immediately once we say Hruddese, so we start asking question, what questions can come in the heart of the public, in the mind of the public. हृदय से जैसे बोलेंगे तो फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन दैट कैन कम कि अगर हृदय से है, व्हाई द डॉक्टर्स आर नॉट एबल टू सी द सोल इन द हृदय से, दे आर डूइंग हार्ट सर्जरी. So the answer is the next concept, that though the soul is hriday se, but soul is not within the auricle or ventricle or the arteries and veins of the heart, it is spiritual actually. So then we have to explain how the soul is spiritual. Right? You're able to understand? So if we write down one concept, concept 1, and if you start asking questions and the answer is actually the second concept. So if concept 1 creates some questions, naturally it creates some questions in the mind of the hearers, and concept 2 has to answer that question. Okay? So this is the first thing that needs to be done, that the philosophy, okay? It has to be arranged. The next thing, okay, so we have to take a thing like this, and the next thing is practical. So the next thing that we need to discuss is how this philosophy, what we are going to discuss, has practical relevance in the life of the public. So if we ask philosophy means, if we say philosophy means what needs to be discussed, क्या हम उस क्लास में डिस्कस करने वाले हैं? And if you ask what is practical means why this needs to be discussed, or we can say how, why the public will be interested for hearing this. क्यों जानने का कोशिश करेगा? क्या उसको मिलेगा? So in this we need to brainstorm list of, how many of you know that in different scriptures there is something called Phalasruti? If you gift a Bhagavatam in a full moon night on the Bhadra, then you will get this. If you put a Bhagavatam on a golden throne and worship it, you will get this. If you read Bhagavatam every day, you will get this. If you gift a Bhagavatam to someone who doesn't have a Bhagavatam, you will get this. If you gift a Bhagavatam to a sannyasi, you will get this. If you gift a Bhagavatam to Sri Nitai, you will get this. So different phalas are given, right? So this is basically what is this. Until unless you make a list of the phalas, or the fruits, our sessions will not be effective. And that's how we see even Vyasdev also, he lists down the phala. And sometimes I have seen some devotees, before starting a section of Srimad Bhagavatam, they will go to the Phalasruti first and they will read, so that people are little interested. Oh, aisa hai kya? Like for example, the Phalasruti of Gajendra Moksha. The Phalasruti of Gajendra Moksha is, if you anyone who hears with faith Gajendra Moksha, he will get rid of all the bad dreams, nightmares, and sometimes in dreams cobra is coming, sometimes a dream tiger is attacking, sometimes in dreams some lady is being attacked by some terrorist. All these things, dreams come, nightmare, right? Or in dream you may see Sri Nitai Das chastising you. That will also go away by reading Gajendra Moksha. So maybe Karan will have that dream. Karan is getting a lot of purification now. So all these dreams will go away, and that Phalasruti is there. So practical relevance means what fruits or what practical relevance people will have, we need to first list down. so that we can inspire people. Okay, if you read this, if you do this, this will happen. And that list needs to be prepared. That what are the different practical relevance of how when they so we can write it in a different way. When public applies this concept, how it will change their life. Okay, so this is the second thing we need to learn while preparing for a class, is that we need to explain its practical significance. Okay, next. Okay, so the third thing is, after these two things are ready, so once you are ready with what you want to discuss and you are ready with why the public will hear you, what you are going to discuss, what the public will gain. Once these two things are ready, so the third thing come is how to present it. So the third thing is it has to be presentable. Even if you have a very, very good concept, if you do not know how to present the concept, then it may not seem relevant, right? So the first thing that has to come in the presentable section is assign timeline to the list of concepts you made. You understanding? Timeline. Okay, so concept 1. So first thing I will discuss is concept 1. So that's the first thing. And the second one, concept 2, and so on. And concept 1 I will take 5 minutes. Concept 2 I will take 10 minutes. Like that. Okay. So one thing I forgot. So when you are making this list, the practical list, try to make a now consolidated list. Try to make a consolidated list of both the concepts and relevance. You are able to understand? Like you first made the philosophical list and you also made a practical list. So try to consolidate this and rearrange again and make a final reorder list. So now concept 1, and then I will tell its practical relevance, then concept 2, its practical relevance, then I'll explain the concept 2. So like that. Or you can explain certain concepts, then in the end you can explain practical relevance. So you have to ultimately reorder the list. So most important in presentable section is to give timelines. So if we don't give timelines, then people will get frustrated. A time will just go on, go on, go on, go on, go on, and one concept you may give 15 minutes, and then there is no time for giving for the next concept, and time goes 1.5 hours, and public is thinking class kab khatam hoga. Yes. So beforehand only we have to be very clear that how much time we are going to give for concepts. And slowly those who are beginning to give classes, it will happen slowly. In the beginning, you will not be able to understand the boundary, how much to give, how much to give. Like for example, what I am telling here, I have already prepared in this mobile, right? So yesterday evening when I sat down, I just have prepared this, right? But in this preparation, I have not given any timeline, because after giving so many classes, even if I don't assign timeline, automatically it happens. Okay, इतना अगर बोलना है तो 1 घंटा में हो जाएगा. You are able to understand? But for all of you, those who are giving new classes, it is important that we assign time frame, clear time frame ki okay, this concept I'll speak for 5 minutes, right? The next thing is to give examples and stories. So whatever concepts we have to give practical examples and some stories or jokes. So we make like concept 1. So in that, okay, so what example I have to give? If there are any example I can give, if there are any stories related to it, related to this concept, and if there are any jokes or humor that can be added into this concept. Okay. And the third one is we can think about some videos or images to assist our concept. Let's say, for example, we are discussing about near-death experience as a proof of the soul, that there are some people who have experienced near-death and then they have experience out of the body. So so then we Google it out, is there any video for the near-death experience? And we find out some video, take a clip of it and try to show the public, right? Or past life memories, reincarnations, past life memory, it proves that soul is there. So we take out some clips and show to the public. So we have some videos, we have some images for it, right? Or we can prepare some PPTs exploring this concept. Okay. So this is the third thing. So third thing is basically presentable, means how we present the concepts. Okay. The next one, the fourth one, is even if it is very, very presentable, it has to be also participative. Participative means we need to ensure public participation, and we need to ensure that it is more of a group discussion for some amount of the class. Otherwise, the class becomes very, very boring. And people are sometimes going out of the spaced out. They are started thinking something else, and someone is little dozing, and someone is yawning, someone is going out, someone has switched off the video and gone out, because there is no participation, right? Someone is already slept. So someone is about to sleep. So all these categories of people are there. You are able to understand, because I am speaking now. Imagine immediately I will ask a question. Okay, Mona Lisa Mataji, speak something about practical relevance of soul. So immediately Mona Lisa Mataji is thinking, बापरे, and others also started thinking, प्रभु जी मेरे को पूछ लिए तो क्या हो जाएगा. तो सब उठ जाते हैं. समझ में आ रहा है ना? हाँ, बिकॉज प्रभु जी क्या सोच रहे हैं, किसको पूछेंगे, वो तो मेरे को पता नहीं. एंड जो सो रहा है प्रभु जी देख पा रहे हैं, है कि नहीं? Who is sleeping, who is dozing, who is yawning, who is so everything is visible. So so in that way, some group discussion is important in between, so that people actually learn the concepts very nicely. Okay, okay. And the next thing in participative is eye contact. Like there was one professor in IIT, he would give the class and he will look like this, and he will be looking to the ceiling and giving class, or he will look to the ground and give class. He will never look to the students. I don't know why. Maybe some students had troubled him or what. He will never look to the students. He will always look up, or he will look there, he will look there, but he will never look to the students. And it was such a frustrating experience to study from him. And he will give very good grades. And that's why his class would be filled with students. And everyone was doing their own things, and the professor would be looking at the ceiling and giving the class and going away, right? So eye contact is very, very important, and not just eye contact, or another thing about is we need to also have active listening. Whatever the person is telling, we should be active to listen and hear his point or appreciate his point. So we need to have a participative environment in the class, and a participative environment helps a lot in keeping the class on. Okay. The next thing is, can anyone say what is the next thing? Okay. The next thing is proofs. So whatever concept we are speaking, it should not be dogmatic. It should not be dogmatic nor legislative. It should be educative. Like sometimes we say ना, तुमको ऐसे करना नहीं चाहिए. क्यों नहीं करना चाहिए? Right? So we should always have an educative mode in while giving class. कि why नहीं करना चाहिए, what will be the problem if you do this, what will be the good thing if you do this, what will be problem if you don't do this. So it should be educative and not just dogmatic and legislative. And the second thing, it should involve references. So what references? Shastric and also Laukic. Shastric references like we can refer to Bhagavad Gita and some Shastras, or Laukic references like sometimes we may quote some scientist, like we sometimes we may quote, you see, Einstein also believed in God, Newton also believed in God, Einstein also read Bhagavad Gita, so how much Bhagavad Gita is important? So this is called Laukic reference. You are able to understand what is Laukic reference, right? Isaac Newton believed in God, like Radheshyam Prabhu in his course, the first thing about God, how a scientist can believe in God, he has put the story of Isaac Newton. So Isaac Newton made a system, solar system and model, and he said to his friend that God has made the original solar system. So this is called Laukic reference. So Laukic reference and the Shastric reference. Shastric reference is Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, the Vedas, Puranas and all those things. And the Laukic reference is some scientist, some eminent person. But Laukic reference is always secondary and Shastric reference is always primary. Can anyone explain what is the meaning of primary and secondary here? Laukic reference is secondary and Shastric reference is primary. Can anyone explain what it means? Okay, so first give Shastric and to support Shastric give the secondary. Okay, anyone else? Laukic reference is primary and Shastric reference is primary and Laukic reference is secondary. Okay, you are having echo. Okay, tell. I think both of you are sitting in one room. Okay.
Shastric example cannot be changed, but Laukic example we can see the same person, he has done something Shastric and after that he is doing something
Okay,
wrong.
Shastric
So
examples cannot be changed. Okay. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Ah.
Yeah, primary reference means those references which we should be telling first. Logic can be okay, just to substantiate that we can use it. But primary references we should be giving it first.
Okay, primary references we should be giving first. Okay, Laukic reference can only find for substantiation. Yes, Mona Lisa Mataji.
It's from Shastric reference, that's the absolute truth. And to substantiate, because Laukic reference, there's a different type of view. Means if we start with Laukic reference, and somebody will show Darwin theory, and someone will say Newton believed in God, that God has created this. So if we start with Laukic reference, then we'll go nowhere. So
perfect.
It has to be Shastric reference, and then to substantiate that.
Yeah. So the Laukic reference is secondary because the primary reference is the truth we want to present, and secondary reference is only those which substantiate that truth, we refer those people only. Like the primary reference is God exists, and there are so many scientists who have said God exists, and there are so many scientists who have also said God doesn't exist. So it's not that we take those scientists who said that God doesn't exist and bring them and start discussing and disprove them that actually God exists. So that's not our point. Our point is we take from Shastras that God exists, and we take examples of all the eminent personalities or the scientists or anyone and put it in our substantiation bracket. Okay, God exists, that's the primary truth. But then there are so many eminent personalities also who also say that God exists. So that I hope everyone is able to understand what is primary and what is secondary. So we need to give proofs, and we need to maintain that the tone of the class is in a educative mode and not in a legislative or a dogmatic mode. क्योंकि मैं बोल रहा हूँ इसलिए ऐसा होगा, right? Sometimes Srila Prabhupada would say, some people would ask, कि Srila Prabhupada, why do you say fools and rascals? Srila Prabhupada said, I am not telling. Krishna is telling, I am repeating. You can go and complain to Krishna. Why you are telling if you are not chanting Hare Krishna, if you are not following the 4 regulative principles, you are simply a fool and rascal. Prabhupada said, I am not telling fool and rascal. Krishna is telling Mudha. I am just telling fool. Mudha. Krishna is telling Mudha and I am telling fool. Right? So, the primary truth is what the scriptures are telling, and we should always tell the primary truth and try to explain the primary truth. Who is a fool? Why Krishna is telling you a fool? If anyone is not practicing spiritual life seriously, is a fool number 1. And why is a fool number 1? I am not telling is a fool number 1. Krishna is telling. And why Krishna is telling fool number 1? Oh, he is going to see whatever throughout the life he is going to acquire, everything he has to leave, and then next life he will become a dog. Is he not a fool? Huh? Is he not a fool? If everything is acquired and then everything you leave here and next life you become a dog, are you not a fool? Or not even dog, you go to hell, you are not a fool. So this is important, that we give primary reference as scriptures and then substantiate it with further reference. And the next thing is, okay, let me just put the lines. Okay. The next thing is, whatever we are trying to tell to public, it has to be programmable. Programmable means if we can make some, if it is possible, if we can make some acronym out of it, or we can develop some sutras, or we can put them in some easily easy to remember jargons or whatever it is. So if we can do something out of it, then people can easily remember what we are speaking. This is an additional thing. If we can do, it is best. But if we do something on a programmable basis, so that people can easily remember the concepts, right? And also programmable also means that we have a very good summary. Okay, so let me write it in different color. We have a very good summary at the end. So if the class gets over, then we summarize the entire class, summarize the concepts, right? So that it gets programmed in the public, right? What are the basic carry home points. So if we can at least, if not make an acronym, but at least if we can make a proper carry home points, a list of carry home points. Okay, this is what we discussed. These are carry home bullet points. Then the public can go back and remember those points, and they will be able to remember the entire class. So this is meaning of programmable. And seventh one is personal examples, or maybe personal. So we need to tell the public, so that the public, see, public will always be looking, okay, प्रभु जी तो बहुत बड़ा बड़ा क्लास दे रहे हैं, ये जो बोल रहे हैं वो कभी अप्लाई किए हैं क्या, या ऐसे ही बोलना तो कोई भी बोल सकता है, so many people can say. So public always has this, those who are hearing class, they always has this doubt in their mind कि has Prabhu ji applied. So if we can give some personal examples where how you personally applied what you are speaking, and how that personal application transformed you. Some may be personal stories, or some interactions, etc. And the last one, prayers. If we really want to give a very good class or prepare for a class, we need to understand that we need to pray to Krishna for giving us the right intelligence. And Krishna is actually the source of intelligence. Krishna is sitting as Paramatma in everyone's heart. Only when we pray to Krishna, Krishna can inspire them to take our message seriously. Like Srila Prabhupada is praying in the Jaladuta prayers that, oh Krishna, you have put everyone in illusion, and only by your mercy people will come out of illusion. Only if you desire so, people will come out of illusion. I am just your puppet trying to do something under your instruction, under my Guru's guidance and instruction. So, to summarize, the first thing we need to learn is that, or we need to do before preparing a class, is we need to prepare a list of, we have to prepare a title which is very sensational and having suspense which will attract the public, brainstorm a list of concepts, rearrange the concepts in chronological order how you will take the class, and establish the link between the concept. How to establish the link between the concept? By asking questions. What questions public can ask for concept 1, we will get the link for concept 2. And then the second thing we need to discuss, we need to jot down, is why this thing is practical and relevant in the life of people. how it is practical, how it is relevant in the life of public, why the public will be interested in doing all these things, what is the practical relevance. So we make a brainstorm, the list, and what the Falasruti is, and then we consolidate the two list and make a final list, right? Reorder the list. So there are some concepts, there is some practical relevance, and the entire list is like this. So even if we make a very nice order of the concepts, we need to also understand that these concept has to be presentable. So how we present the concept is also very, very important. So the first thing is that we assign some timeline to the concepts, and then for each concept we have some examples, some stories, some jokes, and we put some videos, images, PowerPoints, whatever it is. So and try to give as much as practical examples as possible, so that people are able to understand the concept. The fourth one is we need to keep the class very participative. We have to ensure public participation, have eye contact, and ask questions to people, and give some time to them so that they can think and ponder. And the fifth one is we need to change the tone of our class from a dogmatic speech to an educative speech, that we have to involve references, and some Sastric reference, some Laukic reference, and some primary and secondary references. The next one is if we can create a summary out of everything, so that people know what they are going to carry forward in the next class, and some acronyms, some sutras, easily rememberable stuffs or hand notes or whatever it is. And the last one is if we can give some personal points, examples or stories, how we applied the points what we are mentioning in the class and how it transformed our life. And the last one is we need to really pray sincerely. If we really want to inspire anyone and give some class or anything, we need to understand Krishna is actually the source of all intelligence, and only by Krishna's mercy we can do anything in our life. Hare Krishna. So these are the 8 things I wanted to discuss. Anyone has any question? And once you start applying it, then you will find some difficulties, and you will also get used to it. In the beginning it may be having some difficulty, that's natural. Yes, Kushal Bihari Prabhu.
What acronym means what?
Who is asking this question? Acronym you don't know? VIP, very important person. That's acronym. Like making some acronym, abbreviation, or making some sutras. Okay. Keep.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Okay, just wait. You are in line, waiting list. You raise your hand. Anyone has to ask question, please raise your hand. Okay. Mute. Yes, Kushal Bihari Prabhu, then Nidhi Mataji, then Asit Prabhu. Yeah.
In this we can add this Prashna also, ask question answer session.
Yeah, so that is in the participative. So you ask some questions, you do some discussion in question answers. So I have not put it in separate word.
The last generally you ask the question, so we give that time for.
So that is in the participation only. So we can put here on itself some question analysis. Mostly in participation only, public participation, so they understand. Sometimes we may take questions in between only. If the concept is little difficult to understand, sometimes we may take questions in between also. Okay, anything else?
Yes, Prabhuji, sometimes there are people in audience who are very, very cynical about the concept, and they keep they do not agree for anything. They just keep arguing. How to handle that?
So that is what I am telling. We don't have to entertain arguments in the class. We have to speak it and we discuss it. And if someone is having some arguments, we tell him that okay, we will discuss personally on this subject. So we should always tell them that okay, if you have some more points on it, I appreciate. If someone is arguing, that means he is intelligent. But if he is arguing baselessly, then other people उसको चुप कर देंगे. अरे क्या तुम बोल रहा है, पागल हो गया है. Correct? But if other people are not able to shut him up, that means he is an intelligent guy. He is speaking intelligent things. So we should not always shut the mouth of argumentative people thinking that they are rebellious. Sometimes there can be also intelligent people. And Krishna consciousness is for intelligent people. If someone is, there are some people, they will tell yes, yes, yes for everything and they will follow nothing in their life. Sab, ha. So everything yes. And following zero. Nothing they will follow. Better than that are rebellious people who will ask you a lot of questions, but at the end they will follow something at least. Right? So we should not brand someone as argumentative until unless he is baseless. There are some people who are baseless, illogical, unreasonable. For them, we cannot do anything. We can just say, okay, we can have some personal time and we can discuss. But if someone is having arguments and he is putting right arguments, logical arguments, reasonable arguments, so we should always entertain it. And that's the fun in preaching. What's the fun in preaching? If everyone, you start a class and everyone says, yes, Prabhuji, I agree everything, then there is no fun. Real fun is when people debate, when people fight, when people say, no, you are wrong. Then you establish how you are right. That's how preaching is fun. That's how giving class is fun. Yes. Okay, yes, Nidhi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, how important is language in the, how important is your language while teaching? If you suppose you have a mixed crowd, I mean, how do you choose which language you speak and how important is the language?
Language is not at all important. We may speak whatever language based on the maximum crowd, what they understand. It's not that important.
But understandability is important, no? Because whatever you're trying to speak, that requires to get across the people.
So that's why we need to ask the people what they understand, which language they understand, and based on what the majority says, we speak that language.
Prabhuji, everyone do not have the privilege of Hindi-English translation.
No, that is there, but then we need to segregate. Ask only Hindi people to come. But at least we need to segregate. Okay. Okay, Hari Bol. Yes. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, you told whatever you are in this life, maybe you are Kodpati, maybe you are a IAS, maybe you are so many talented, everything will live in this world when you will live this planet. Nothing will help. And you will get a life of a dog and all the things. But how will you convince people? Where is it written? Where is the exact things people will believe these things?
Okay, so from were you believing all these things from childhood?
Which things, Prabhuji?
What you said right now.
No, I never learned from childhood. I only learned from you.
So like that. So you are an example. You didn't learn from childhood. Now you started learning and started coming from Bhagavatam class. So then there will be people also like you who have not learned from childhood. We have to catch them. We have to convince them. and then they will also start attending Bhagavatam class. So you are an example. You are only an example, na? If you could change, why not others will change? They will also change.
And Prabhuji, if anybody asks, who told you? After so many struggle, I will be IAS officer. I mean, after so many struggle and hard working, I have to study, I will be IITian. After struggling so many things, I will be a CEO in this organization. So many struggling, I am achieving these things. Then you are saying it is not go with your next life.
No, I am not saying it will not go with your next life. You take him to Smasan Ghat. Have you seen any people taking anything in the next life?
No.
Then?
No.
Then otherwise the person will be born with some gold or diamond or something. You have seen any person born like that?
No.
You have seen any person dying with taking away something? The wife he had 2 flats, and the wife was thinking two flats. One flat I will stay, one flat I will sell it off, so that the money will come. I'll put it in fixed deposit. And the husband, while living, at the time of death, takes 1 flat, and the wife is crying, "अरे गया तो गया, एक फ्लैट लेके गया, मैं क्या सोचा था, क्या किया ये." ऐसे कभी देखा है आपने? हाँ? So then what? So then that's what is telling. We are telling you will not be able to take. This is from practical example. We are saying no one has taken. Alexander the Great could not take. Hitler could not take. Mussolini could not take. Oh, what you will take? Huh? So that's what is Laukik example.
Yes, bro.
Huh?
Yes, bro.
And sometimes there will be some people we will not be able to convince. We connect them to some higher. You bring them to me. Either they will convince or they will run away, getting defeated. Either they will surrender or they will run. समझ में आ रहा है? Huh? And some people are very egoistic. They will not accept surrender also. Oh, that's what we can do. But at least if we defeat them and we tell them, challenge them, convince them, even if they don't tell that I am defeated, now I understand. Even if they don't have that humility, when they go back, what you have told will keep on ringing in their ears. टैंग 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 प्रभु जी बोला था ये सब गड़बड़ है, सब गड़बड़ है, सब गड़बड़ है. जब आज कुछ अच्छा चल रहा है, बॉस अच्छा अच्छा बोल रहा है, अप्रेजल हो रहा है, कब जब नेक्स्ट tomorrow when the boss is speaking all rubbish, then he will remember Prabhu ji bola tha, Prabhu ji bola tha. So the knowledge will keep on haunting him. Today he is not serious, tomorrow he will be serious. If a person has heard the knowledge, the right knowledge, the knowledge is very powerful. It will haunt him like a saya. Saya hota hai na? You know saya? Huh? What is saya? भूत नहीं. So साया की तरह उसके पीछे पीछे भागता रहेगा. And it will haunt. Shadow. हाँ? पता नहीं क्या है उसका इंग्लिश है. आप सब समझ गए ना? साया साया. शैडो शैडो शैडो. ठीक है, शैडो 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 यूज करें. ठीक है. यस, समझ में आ गया असित प्रभु? ओके. यस सुनीता माता जी. दंडवाद.
So, what is the process of becoming a teacher? Like, if you want to become a professor, पहले आप PA बनते हो, you learn like assistant बनके you learn something and then practically you do it.
Yeah.
So, how to do it here?
Yeah, so we will discuss that. That is also one of the class we will discuss. Ki what are the qualities of a nice teacher or a mentor one should develop. So that is also one seminar we will give next month. Okay, so don't worry about it. This is the entire seminar. It will take some lot of time to be discussed. Okay. Yes, Sanjukta Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Sometimes we do not give class to the students directly. Sometimes we need to call them and we need to encourage them. Especially for young people, sometimes I'm not complaining someone, but sometimes we face the problem. Sometimes we tell them or we discuss them something that is more spiritual that they cannot digest Prabhuji. And for that, sometimes they complain to others like why this Mataji tell me like this. And Prabhuji, so my question is, what kind of discussion we can have with them while calling or encouraging them?
Yeah, so today we focused on giving class. So some other day we can focus on how to call people, how to inspire people. So that's another thing that is separate. So today we are focusing on how to give class and not on calling and everything, how to make connections with people, how to relate with people, how to take care of them. So that can be another session. Okay. So no, the topic question is how when we are doing follow up or we're calling people, they say something and we say something which is like they may be in class 1 and we tell them some PhD level stuff. So then they may get frustrated. That's the question?
Yes,
yeah, so we will discuss that. Okay, yes, Elja Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Prabhuji, I don't have any question. I just want some homework. Like you have told how to prepare. If you give some things to do, like in 1 month we can prepare and show you, so that you can learn it actually. We have written theoretically, and now on practical level, if we get something to do it for a month, next month में हम लोग उसको फिर discuss कर सकते हैं, तो हमारे लिए वो सीखना आसान होता है.
But that already I have announced, na? We had already announced that every class 15 minutes someone will speak something on Bhagavad Gita and we will have some question answers. That we have already announced. But I didn't start it because I wanted to give this and then we can start. I have already announced, na? Is there any confusion?
Yes. Maybe the way is announced, but since we are learning, so I thought we should also do it.
Every week there will be one person speaking. Don't worry. We'll give you also time. Okay. And we'll also screw you up in that. Don't worry. I think I had announced, na, if I remember. Huh?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. So, generally, I don't forget, but sometimes I forget when Krishna makes me humble. Yes. Yes, Sveta Mataji.
I have rather a personal application based question that हम लोग अभी शुरुआत कर रहे हैं couples classes, right, Prabhu? And when we started classes, you taught us so well, but our capacity is to do only for the females. And now as we are aging up, we can approach our age group mostly, easily. So how, Sunita Mataji के question का ही ये forward है that how a Mataji can contribute in preaching when the things are, couple preaching, or because क्वेश्चन कंसर्न सही है कि जब कोई माता जी सीरियस हो जाती है तो फिर वहाँ प्रभु जी नहीं आ पाते हैं, देयर आर लॉट ऑफ कॉम्प्लिकेशंस इन्वॉल्व्ड. और जनरली जब हम प्रीचिंग करते हैं हम माता जी को ही करते हैं, माता जी जल्दी सीरियस हो भी जाते हैं एंड देन दे गेट द फैमिली प्रॉब्लम्स. हाउ वी फिट इन देयर?
So that's why if the couples come, the Matajis also come, na? So even if the couples come, the classes, so the Matajis can give and the Prabhujis can give half of the class. And but class is just only one thing. Most of the thing happens through personal interaction and relationship. So the Matajis can make personal relationship with the Matajis and Prabhujis make personal relationship with the Prabhujis.
So here the couples are preaching, तो Mataji को तो उनके Mataji handle कर लेंगे.
नहीं, how much the couples can preach? One couple may be able to take care of 5 more couples. Then imagine 15 couples are coming for the class. Who will take care of the remaining couples? So there will be enough opportunity for preaching. I don't think there is. Rather, we have less teachers and more participants always. I have never seen that we have more teachers and less participants. I have never seen in ISKCON like that. We have more properties in ISKCON and less in charges. I have always seen. Yeah, I want to give this property and we tell नहीं or we don't want property. We have enough property and we have less people to take care of the property. हम नहीं लेंगे आपकी property. So that's what I have always seen, that there are more people and less people to take care of them. And if you are sincere, Krishna will, and if you learn the concepts very nicely, and if we take care of people very nicely, so we'll have ample opportunities of preaching. Are 700 crore people are there in this world, and out of 700 crore people, or 800? 800 crore people, 700 to 800 crore people, out of that, only some fraction, some 1, 2, 3 lakhs people are devotees. That's it. And we say that we have no opportunity for preaching, right?
Thank you, Prabhu. I have one more question.
And it is also we need to understand that sometimes we think I can only preach to my age group. I cannot preach to the young girls and unmarried girls. So this is a misnomer actually. We need to learn how to connect with the youths. We need to learn how to connect with old people. Preaching is not based on, okay, if I am 40, I can only give class to 40. If I am 30, I can give only class to 30. Neither the, like for example, the professor. So the professor in the college, he is giving class every year to different batch of first year students only, correct? Not that every year the IIT recruits new fresh young professor for the first year student. ऐसा होता है क्या? Huh? Like I remember when in 2005 I joined IIT, there was a physics teacher called Khastigir. And recently some student came from IIT and I asked who is teaching, he was in physics department, where is Khastigir sir now? He said he is now become HOD. And I said, does he give some first year class? No, he gives first year class. 2005 में देता था, अभी भी दे रहा है. वो कितना बूढ़ा हो गया होगा? कितना साल हो गया? 19 साल हो गया. उस समय he was in the mid age, like 35-40 का होगा. अभी तो 20 साल 60 का होगा और रिटायरमेंट का आ गया. HOD हो गया वो. So these concepts are very not proper. Thinking that okay, मैं अभी 50 year हो गया हो, I cannot give class to youths. Radheshyam Prabhu is 55 now. Now also he is giving class to youths. A bad dancer always blames the stage. जिसको नाचना नहीं आता है तो वो आंगन टेढ़ा बोलेगा ही बोलेगा हर समय. अरे आप नाचना सीखिए तो आप कभी नहीं बोलेंगे कि आंगन टेढ़ा है, ये टेढ़ा है, वो टेढ़ा है. अरे so if Krishna is there with us, what not we can achieve? Everyone is in Krishna's heart. All people were telling what they were telling. Arey, if you go to West, no preaching will happen. No preaching. Srila Prabhupada went. He had faith on Krishna. He had faith on the words of Guru. He did preaching. Not the entire West became devotee. Okay, Srila Prabhupada went. That's why the entire America became devotee. It didn't happen. Some few thousands of Americans out of crores of Americans became devotees. Fine. But became devotee, na? Like that. We may not be able to make the entire world devotee, but some तो कुछ तो रहे भक्त बन जाएंगे, right? And इतने भक्त बनेंगे जितना हम उनको ख्याल रख सकते हैं. भगवान उतना भक्त बना के आपको दे देंगे कि आपकी ख्याल रखने की कैपेसिटी इतना है तो उतना दे देंगे. Okay, is this clear? Any?
Yes, Prabhu, one more question. Because there is another thing that we must have some spiritual substance. जितना है उतना ही दे सकते हैं.
Yes.
That is what you ended up. So this is what I liked, that जितना है हम उतना ही कर सकते हैं. And then about preaching, Radheshyam Prabhu is preaching for the youth. या फिर कॉलेज में जो टीचर आता है उसको पता है वो यूथ को ही पढ़ाने वाला है. एज वेरिएशन नहीं होता, preaching में एज वेरिएशन होता है. And
we can fix in the when we create a group itself, we can fix, okay, this is the age we will register. That choice we always have, the teacher has, right? Okay, anyone
Yes.
else?
Yes. Thank you. Very much.
Yes, Dev Malepru has one question from here.
So, like earlier when I was into that discount,
Huh.
I used to do youth patients. So I used to go to the college. So I bought some eight people.
Huh.
So now, like you are also a teacher.
Huh.
Even like right now, those who are preaching right now, they will also become a teacher.
Huh.
Now, if a devotee, if they are doing any mishandling or if they are not able to understand some mistakes they are doing, so how you all are taking the responsibility of that? Because you are preaching it, them, right?
Yeah.
To make them a devotee.
So Prabhuji is asking a very nice question. Let us say there are some teachers. So, and the teachers who are teaching, now I was teaching, then some other teachers will come, they will start teaching. So, what responsibility is there? Imagine the other teachers mishandle the students, right? So, let's say there is some teacher X who is mishandling the student A. So student A should go to teacher of teacher X and tell ki Prabhuji that the teacher X is mishandling, and so the teacher A should teacher X ka teacher should settle up the issues. You're able to understand? Yeah?
Sometimes students also mishandle.
Also students also mishandle, then the teacher will complain that these students are mishandling. So what is students? So then the teacher higher than them should come and try to settle the issue. So sometimes the student exploit the teacher, sometimes the teacher exploit the student. So that will happen. That is natural. That's how the world is. That and like that only people will get purified. Sometimes the students will purify the teacher. Sometimes the teacher will purify the student. And like that only things will move on. How the things will move on? Like husband and wife together. So husband and wife together, husband purifies the wife, wife purifies the husband, and that's how they go back to Godhead. Right? And some people, they don't want to become brahmachari also, they don't want to become grihastha. Why? Because they don't want to get purified. They don't want their ego to get purified. That's why nowadays people don't want to get married. Because they know if शादी करूंगा तो पूरा धो देगी मेरे को, तो शादी नहीं करते हैं. और फिर मैं आश्रम आ जाऊंगा तो प्रभु जी मेरे को धो देंगे. नहीं नहीं, मेरे तो थोड़ा दूर में रहूंगा, 1 BHK फ्लैट में रहूंगा. थोड़ा 1 BHK फ्लैट में रह के थोड़ा शांति से रहूंगा प्रभु, बीच बीच में मंदिर आता रहूंगा, आपका ऑनलाइन क्लास करता रहूंगा, थोड़ा दूर रहूंगा सबसे. तो बेसिकली व्हाट ही वांट्स, ही डजंट वांट टू गेट प्यूरिफाइड इन लाइफ. He doesn't want his ego to get purified. That's all. So we need to understand the teacher-student relationship is a relationship where the teacher purifies the student and the student also purifies the teacher. The student teaches the teacher how to be tolerant, right? Because so many times the teacher will tell ki aise kar lo, waise kar lo, and the student will not do. So what the teacher will do? Trinadapi sunichena taroriva sahishnuna. Be tolerant, because the teacher cannot reject the student, right? Because the student say, Prabhupada never rejected anyone. How can you are rejecting Prabhuji? So you cannot reject. So you have to be tolerant, right? Taroriva sahishnuna. So the teacher learns tolerance. And the student learns humility. Yes? The student has to be humble. Teacher gali marta hai. Yes, Prabhuji. So in this way, both learn. The teacher learns tolerance and the student learns humility. Amanina manadena. The teacher gives student all appreciation. तुम है करके मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ. मान लीजिए मैं क्लास चालू किया, कोई जूम में आया ही नहीं, मैं क्या किसको पढ़ाऊँ? So manadena. And so in this way we need to understand that both the teacher and student learn. We should not think, if the teacher is so egoistic, thinking, while giving a class, I will give a class and I will ensure all the students learn. He is the most foolish person. So the teacher also should understand that I also learn a lot of things while interacting with my students. A lot of good qualities come in the teacher's life by interacting with the students, and a lot of good qualities also come in students' life by interacting with the teacher, right? And especially nice purification happens if there is a strict teacher and dhila dhala student. Then to full purification. Student is dhila dhala and teacher is strict. Then the teacher will be very nicely become tolerant, and the student will also become humble thoroughly. You have some point? Yeah, so there is one question also. Sup Krishna Prabhu has some question.
On this
Huh. Yeah.
So in section of Vidura and Maitri, so Prabhupada writes that a student should, if he is not sincere, should not accept a soap bottle guru,
Huh.
and Guru should not accept a disciple
Huh.
if he is not able to engage him into pure devotional service. How to understand this?
Yeah, so he is asking a question in Vidura and Maitreya section. Vidura is approaching Maitreya, and Prabhupada writes there that that a student should not approach a so-bottle guru, and a guru should not just accept a student, but he should also ensure that he is training the student in pure devotional service. So, what is the question?
Should not maintain a soap bottle guru.
So what is the
not,
question?
sincere.
What is the question? That is the point.
Yeah. So how to understand this thing? Like when you say that maintaining a guru. I mean, if so, you are strict and that student is not sincere. So whose fault is this? I mean,
Okay, so if the teacher is strict and the student is not sincere, whose fault is this? Actually, there is no one's fault. We cannot tell that someone is having fault. The student is somehow in his own journey, because everyone is in his own journey. So he has started his journey, and the teacher is naturally will expect the student to grow more faster. So that's how it happens. Sometimes the student may not become serious the entire life only. So what we can do? The teacher may try, and then the teacher leaves, and then the Krishna appoints another teacher to his life. Like right now we are in this junction. We may have also got many other teachers in our previous life who would have tried. And then in this life, some teachers will try. If we become perfect, then it is good. Otherwise, Krishna will appoint some other teacher. Right? So it's in Krishna consciousness, nothing is like, okay, problematic. If the student is Dhila Dhala, at least he is little bit of Dhila Dhala student, some submission is there, then he could not qualify. Next life again, he will get another teacher. And like this, Krishna appoints, keeps on appointing Krishna. Ultimately, the teacher is appointed by Krishna only, na? But we are foolish that if we think that okay, ठीक है, teacher तो आते रहेंगे, ये आया अभी, ये रंगीन teacher आया, कल black and white आएगा, फिर दूसरा आएगा, आता रहेगा teacher, भगवान तो भेजते रहेंगे. तो ये अगर हम सोचेंगे तो फिर मुश्किल है. But some people still think like this. What we can do? As a teacher, we should always be sincere, right? Okay, and we should always give based on the level of the audience. Okay, this audience is this much dhila dhala, so okay. Like that's what we created this group. So we are very clear about the protocol. Anyone wants to be there, he has to follow certain protocol. Wants to be little dhila dhala, he can be in other group. Okay, all the best. Which group you want to be? Okay, this group. Okay, Hare Krishna. I hope everyone understood what we discussed. I'll put the notes. Okay. So there are two things that was asked that we will discuss in next classes. One is how to relate with people and talk with them. And the second thing, what are the qualifications of a good teacher? Okay. So we will discuss in next months. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, all the teacher Brinda ki jai, Vancha Kalpataruvasha, Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namananta Koti Vaishnava Brinda ki jai, Vaishnav Thakur ki jai, Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.